Good evening, welcome to Sports Unplugged. I'm your host, Chris Brack. I'm joined by my partner in crime, Kev, Luke, and we've got Daz back. Finally. Been promised to get Daz on for ages, so why not Daz? Last game of the season, we may as well get it in there. How you doing, mate?
That's it, mate. Yeah, no, delighted to be back on. It's always a pleasure, lads, and great to be on with the trees tonight. I tune in regularly on a Friday, so it's great now to be on and not just dropping in the comments. So, yeah, looking forward to it. Roller coaster of a season so far. Probably the best ever Premier League season I can remember my lifetime. So it comes to an end Sunday. In a way, I'm a little bit looking forward to it all being over for a couple of weeks, and it's just being relentless with the football week after week. The last couple of weeks, there's been a game every few days, so many talking points, controversy, but what a time to be a fan at the moment. It's extraordinary what's going on at Liverpool, where we're at and where we're going to be going forward. So, yeah, it's great season, unbelievable. And I go into this game, the last game, feeling very relaxed. Not nervous at all. Obviously excited because of what might happen, but we're all in party mode, I think, and we're all feeling very proud of an unbelievable season that's happened so far, and what we've seen. It's been some unbelievable moments this season.
Definitely has, mate. I mean, most of the controversy was just me and Kev post-match, to be honest. How you doing, Kev?
I'm good, mate. Yeah, not too bad. Same as Darren there. It's been a mad month. I mean, from April on, really, it's just been non-stop. And every game is so much pressure. And for the first time in ages...
It's been like since Jan. I won't say April.
Yeah, but no, because I think from January until April, it was like, yeah, we'll just keep plodding on and doing what we're doing. When it got to April, it got real, because then the League Cup was in the bag. The FA Cup starts getting into the money end, the business end of the season. And we just keep on chucking. We keep on winning. And we're there, and we're knocking out wins. And it's just been relentless, nonstop. But I'm like, Darren, this is the first time going into a weekend, and I'm totally relaxed about it.
Yeah.
Because I know genuinely I am this time, because we've done our bit. We've done our bit by taking it to the last day. And I'm convinced we'll do our job against Wolves. It's out of our hands.
I'll wait for the half three text when you tell me your bottle's gone, which I normally get. Well, I normally get half an hour for every game. Kev goes, nerves have kicked in now.
Oh, yeah, no, my nerves will always kick. My match day nerves always kick in. It doesn't matter if it's flaming pre-season friendly.
We need to get you on a watch along, Kev, with Davo. I just think it'll be magic.
Oh, it'd be hilarious. The two of us would be banned off YouTube for life, I swear to God.
Yeah, but what a show, though. What a show. Just think of the content.
That would be worth the stream.
But no, I'm looking forward to it. And the thing is, you take the Liverpool hat off for a second, you've got a top four fight still going. You've got relegation to be still decided. It's not often you've got the business ends of the table at the top, middle, and bottom being decided on the last day. It's rare that you see that, So, but this has just been a crazy season, and I'm convinced there's a twist left in this one.
I think they've said, apart from Chelsea, every other team has the potential to move at least one position.
Yeah,
and I think it's the first time it's happened.
Yeah.
So, we mock, United and West Ham's a bum fight for who is Europa League, who's Europa Conference. So again, that will, if you're Europa Conference, it's a qualifier to get in. So again, that messes with your pre-season, and it's a short pre-season anyway. So again, it's all the knock-on effects. Luke, good to have you back, mate. You decided to abandon us to go watch UFC, not UFC, Bellator.
No. Yeah, Bellator. Yeah, I survived. I was
going to say, tell us all about it, because I haven't seen any of it. So I was waiting for your expert update.
Yeah, would you like to hear about my travelling? Because that was fun. I guess that was more entertaining than the main event. Because when I got to London, I got off the train at the O2. And Callum from Copies rang me, said, "Oh, you got to London, okay?" And I was like, yeah, I'm just by the O2. And then he said, "Do you know the event is by Wembley?" I was like, "Oh, fuck." So I booked my hotel near the O2, and Wembley is like an hour and a half away on a train and a bus. I was like, "You've got to be kidding me!"
Check the
so that was fun. So that trek across London, that was hilarious. Yeah, no, the event was actually quite good. Actually, apart from the main event, the rest was great. Saw the end of Paul Daly's career, highlight knockout, and saw Leon Edwards' brother Fabian Edwards knock out Lyoto Machida in the first round, And from the Brits' perspective, that was probably as good as it got because the main event stunk the building out. We booed the outcome. It was a horrible fight. It was a horrible fight to watch.
Horrible as in just dull, or horrible as in brutal?
It was dull because all Storley did was just pick MVP up and put him on the mat. Didn't try to submit him or anything. Just held him there for 5 rounds. 5 rounds. It was so boring. And you won the interim welterweight gold. And it was.
Is this the football equivalent of Burnley versus Stoke?
Yeah. It was like so bad.
I mean, what was it?
Did boo him out.
How many people were there for the?
How many?
What was the? Because it's a big arena.
Yeah, it is a big arena. I think Callum said he thought there was 7,000 there. I thought it was 5,000 there because there were still quite a few empty seats.
Big turnout, that though, isn't it?
It's decent for. I mean, the thing is, UFC will sell out, and UFC London is going to sell out, no doubt. Bellator is still a relatively small promotion, and it's a cult following. You know, I mean, it gets good TV coverage and what have you, but
it gets good BBC coverage.
So I mean,
BBC
that's huge.
Yeah, BBC Three. That's huge.
Cool. At least you had a good weekend off. You're back now.
Yeah, and then it was Liverpool the next day, and I was umming and ahhing, sticking around by Wembley, and then I thought, nah, I'm heading straight back home, and I'll see if I can get home to watch the final. And luckily, I got home just as the final started, so that was great. And that was also another nightmare, but
excellent. Yeah. Joe's in the chat. Where was it, Joe? For ages, asking us, Leeds down? ? So let's preview.
It's a good place to start, isn't it?
Let's talk about the relegation because Everton got themselves out of it.
Got themselves out of it. Someone said the first. You see the pitch invasion? They won the league.
Listen, come on. If you get yourself out of relegation, I'm fine with being overexcited and all that because you want to, because you don't want to be relegated, do you? I'm not a big fan of pitch invasions when there's 6 minutes to go. That's probably something that needs to be talked about. But first time I think in the Premier League, Everton have ever come from 2-0 down at half time to win. So again, for them that's a massive result because it takes all the pressure off, all the pressures off them. As they can do it, because you don't want to go Arsenal away needing to win.
Safe now, aren't they?
Yeah, it's mathematically safe now. Finances withholding, but that's for another day. So the big games is we've got Brentford at home to Leeds, and then we've got Burnley at home to Newcastle. Now, credit to I think it was the Anfield Rap I listened to last week. They were interviewing a Brentford fan, and Joe can correct me if this is right. There's a big rivalry between Brentford and Leeds. They don't like each other. The Brentford I was speaking said is I think Brentford are a bit of a bogey side to Leeds. I think they've beaten them at key moments, I think, when they're in the Championship and League One. So it's quite a big game. And Brentford, you probably said 5-6 weeks ago, well, it's a nice game for last game of the season for Leeds. But form-wise, Brentford are brilliant. They're really, really decisive. So, Luke, let's talk about Brentford Leeds first, and then you can move. You can talk about Burnley and Newcastle. How are you seeing it?
I don't know. It's an interesting one because since Eriksen's come in to Brentford, he sort of steered them away from the relegation zone because there was a point where we were all thinking, well, Brentford are dropping, and they could get dragged right into this. But as soon as Eriksen's come in, I think he's made a massive difference. And Leeds sacking Bielsa and getting Jesse Marsh could be probably the worst managerial decision of the season.
I don't think it's the manager personally, but
because if you were going to sack Bielsa, you'd want to get a manager that has experience of keeping him in the league just till the end of the season, then binning him off, and then getting Jesse Marsh if you wanted Jesse Marsh. So, I think Leeds are going to go down. Unfortunately, I think they'll draw the game. I think they'll draw the game, but I think Burnley will also draw. So they'll go down.
Burnley's goal difference is significantly better.
But again, Leeds could be safe because I'm seeing reports of Burnley and Leeds are going to be complaining to the Premier League about Everton.
We will pick that up a bit later, but yes.
Yeah.
Daz, how are you seeing it?
Well, Brentford have had a really good April. They got a couple of wins. They beat Chelsea, they beat West Ham. drew at Tottenham. They've been in a good run of form, so they're one of the most formed teams at the moment. Not obviously the formed team, but they don't have much to play for, do they? In this, Leeds have everything to play for. I mean, they've waited 16 years to win the Premier League. They got in it this year. Last season, they done really well. The first game they came to Anfield, gave us a scare. We were probably lucky to win the game 4-3 and what we did. And it was good times under Bielsa. Leeds were going places. We know they'd only one way of playing ball, and that's how they got results. And they at one stage, remember looking at them, they very rarely drew games. I think they just either won or lost games. And then obviously look, Bielsa goes this season, which I thought was probably right at the time, but as you just touched on there, probably bringing in someone more with Premier League experience and bringing Jesse Marsh probably would have been better for next season. But it's a shootout, isn't it, between Leeds and Burnley now. Burnley have a bit more experience at home, again, against a side having much to play for. I watched Newcastle against Arsenal, and I thought Newcastle looked like a team that had something to play for, and Arsenal looked like they were on the holidays. So if it's happened to go by in that game, this will be a really tough game for Leeds and for Burnley. Burnley conceded a lot less goals, score less than Leeds. Leeds, obviously, I think they conceded nearly 80 goals this season, or probably more in the league.
Wow.
They scored a couple more goals, though, than Burnley. So it's hard. It's really hard. The last day of the season, it'll go down to nerve. It'll be a test of character, of strength. Who would you fancy more? Possibly slightly Burnley, I would just say, ahead of them. They're at home as well. And Leeds, if both of them draw, which I know Luke said there, there could be a draw. If both teams draw, Burnley stay up because they've a significant goal difference. So a lot of work. Leeds are just relying on luck. Leeds are hoping that they win and Newcastle can do something at a tough moor on Sunday. If I'm a better man, which I'm not, I would say Burnley just edge it. But it's hard to call. I mean, last day of the season, the last couple of weeks have been bonkers in the league. And maybe the draw against Villa for Burnley, even though they were 1-0 up, might have been a good point. 2 knows, or it could have been 2 points dropped when they were in the late. So I'm not so sure. But what I am liking about this week is the league title has to be officially fully decided. 4th place looks like it's going to be Spurs, but then you have the relegation fight, and it's just a pity Everton came back last night, because it would have been good to see the 3 teams in a relegation scrap. And Everton away at Arsenal, Everton's home form, it would have been tricky, because Everton's home form have got them up this season, have kept them up, and they beat Chelsea, United, Newcastle late on, and then obviously last night turned it around. When Brentford came back last week against them after being 1-0, 2-1 down, I thought they were in serious trouble. But look, credit where credit's due. They to do the hard way last night, and they did. And look, I know celebrations were a bit critical, whatever, but as you said, Chris, when you do stay up in the league where you were at one stage probably favourites to get down, you're going to party, and it is what it is in that scenario. But it's a hard one to call, really, for me. I don't know what Kev thinks about it, what you think, but for me, I would just favour slightly Burnley, but it's a toss of a coin for me, really.
Yeah, Kev, speaking of managers, I've seen obviously quite a few of the chat saying, get rid of Bielsa, but putting a manager who's got no Premier League experience in a relegation fight is pretty suicidal, according to some. Michael Jackson of Runcorn Heritage at Burnley has absolutely no Premier League experience. This is his first manager's gig.
Yeah, the managers,
and he's had a for him, his impact's come at the right time.
The manager talk is nonsense. It doesn't make a blind bit of difference, and your man at Burnley has proved that. All he's done at Burnley is just told him to take the ball down and pass it. Stop going long. Keep the ball a bit longer. Try to work better chances. That's all he's done. It's not rocket science.
Use the pace of McNeil and Corney.
Yeah, exactly. And that's all he's done. They've worked on a back 5 system. They're still defensively sound enough. Nick Pope is an excellent shot stopper. And Nick Pope's biggest problem has always been his distribution. So if he's not asked to go long and just asked to be a keeper, he's a really good keeper.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I look at Newcastle. Newcastle are going for a 4th win in a row for the first time since 2012. And I think they'll beat Burnley. I think Newcastle are playing really well. They'll want to cement places in the squad for next year. You know, these guys are playing for their future. Newcastle are going to be spending huge money. And the players that are in that starting 11 against Burnley are going to want to be part of that. You know, nailed on 100%. So I've got no qualms about Newcastle beating Burnley. Brentford, I think, I saw something. Was it Brentford are unbeaten at home against Leeds in their last 10 games? Six wins, 4 draws. Yeah. 6 wins, 4 draws. Here's the thing. Leeds under Bielsa were shipping goals like they were going out of fashion. Leeds under Marsh don't concede as much. They have a bit more structure to them, and they have a stickability to stay in games. The amount of late goals they're getting to get draws since he's been there, there've been a few. So I think
big issue is keeping 11. Big issue is keeping 11 on the pitch.
Yeah,
that's been a big issue.
It's going to be a big issue for him, but I think I fancy Leeds to get a point. I think they'll fight and scrap for a draw. The hope is that Patrick Bamford plays. If Bamford plays, you've got someone that can hold it up and bring others in around him. And no matter how many injections they got to give him to play, get him on the pitch, because he's your only hope. The only thing that Leeds should have got rid of Bielsa before the January window.
Yeah,
if there was any hope for turning it around, they needed the board to back a manager in January, and Leeds board have an awful lot to carry the blame for this, because last year our injury crisis was bad. I haven't seen a squad hit by injuries and disciplinary issues mainly, but like Leeds have this year. Every time that they get someone back, they lose 2 others. They bring someone back and he breaks down. You know, and they're not just willy-nilly players, they're key players. Calvin Phillips.
It's the spine of the side.
It's the spine of the side. They've never been able to keep them all fit. And it doesn't matter who the manager is at that stage. If you can't keep your best players on the pitch, you're going to suffer. So can they pull it out for just one effort to get a draw? Yeah, I think they can. I think
they've shown a bit of heart lately as well, Kev. I think, like at Arsenal, they were 2-0 down after 10 minutes. They were 10 men after half an hour, and you thought the floodgates had opened here. And this is when Arsenal were in control of getting 4th place. And then was Llorente scored halfway through the second half. And, you know, in the end, they probably could have gotten something over. But I thought that was a good fight back from them. They showed good resilience that day after being 2-0 down and down to 10 men, because especially the first half an hour was all Arsenal. How they weren't 5 or 6 up, probably because it is Arsenal. That's why they weren't. But like they were playing Arsenal, and Arsenal had a lot to play for. Obviously, they were in command of 4th place, and Leeds were in big trouble. And then at Brighton of late, they got that very late goal, last kick of the game. So it could be, but I think when you compare the last, probably from April to now, with them and Burnley have got more wins, got more points. And since Sean Dyche has went, you're right, they kept them more composed, much more simple, Kev. It hasn't been rocket science from them, but they work to their strength, and they've gotten good points. Wasn't at one stage they got 10 points out of 12, Burnley, and it looked like okay that they'll do it here. So it's been bonkers up the relegation fight, but it's what we all want to see, isn't it? But for it to get down to the last day of the season, every Burnley fan, every Leeds fan will be. Look, they'll be apprehensive, to be nervous, they'll be excited to think it could be that day and they stay up. But
the lads in the chat there are saying that they need a win, not a draw. They don't.
They need to just better Newcastle.
They need to better Newcastle's result. They're both level on 35 points. So as long as Newcastle beat Burnley, a draw is good enough for Leeds.
Yeah. So go on, Kev.
Newcastle draw.
Yeah, Kev, give us your scores for both games then.
I think Brentford Leeds will be 1-1, and I think Newcastle beat Burnley 3-1.
Okay, Luke, what have you got?
I'm going to go 1-1 draw between Brentford and Leeds, and then I'm going to go 2-1 Newcastle.
So one's got Leeds staying up, one's got Burnley staying up. Daz, what have you got?
I'm going to go for both to win, and then Burnley will just stay up. I think Leeds will do everything they have to. As I said, 16 years out of the league, to come back in. It's only their second season in it. They've shown good fight resilience of late. So Burnley at home to Newcastle, as good as Newcastle are. Kev touched on it there. Don't bother. Is it 4 wins in a row? First time in
the Premier League, yeah.
10 years. So they're all fighting for next season. But I don't think this will have much of an impact on Newcastle this game. I think they got a big win during the week on Monday night against Arsenal. Played really well, and away now at Burnley is always a difficult. Like, you look at most of the top teams that went to Burnley this season, they had nowhere near their own way. How composed, how compact, organised, drilled they are defence. We know this. I remember we went there and Fabinho gets a late goal for us, but it took a lot of effort that day. When Burnley really have to do it, I just fancy that they'll win, and I think Leeds will win. I agree with Kev, but that'll be enough to keep Burnley up.
Cool.
But we'll see.
Okay. I think both Burnley and Leeds get beat. Both get and Burnley step a goal difference. I think both will get beat. I think it's going to be a bit of one of the most depressing ways of staying up, which actually is very, very good.
It's the thing is they're at that bottom of the table for a reason. So the odds of it wouldn't be beyond the realms of possibility.
And Brentford and Newcastle are also form sides. So
exactly,
So it's going to be a weird one. So Burnley will stay up, but not the way they want.
Leeds have conceded the most goals. The only team conceded one more than them is Norwich. So they have conceded a lot of goals.
That's company don't want to speak of. But speaking of Norwich, nice segue there, Daz. Glad we brought you in. Let's talk about the top four. So we've got Spurs just need a point, and they've got top four. Arsenal need to beat our blue brethren and hope that Norwich pull off some sort of miracle, which will be, let's be honest, Kev. Arsenal's top four hopes sort of vanished, didn't they? Probably last week.
Yeah, they slipped away, didn't they? They just vanished into thin air.
Some would also almost say IP vanished. There we go. There's your segue for the show. Boom, boom. Who had 23 minutes? So, did you know that browsing online using incognito mode doesn't actually protect your privacy? That's right. Without security, you may as well give all your personal data away. So, if you sign up to IPVanish, it's a VPN which will keep you truly private and secure on the internet and keep all your data 100% encrypted. So that's all your passwords, communications, browsing history will all be kept out of unwanted hands. And you can use this on your computer, tablets, phones, or Fire Stick with streaming media. And you don't lose any speed, and there isn't even a limit on devices. And for you guys, IPVanish is giving you guys 70% off their yearly plan, plus 30-day money-back guarantee. So you're basically getting 9 months for free, and these guys are rated 4.6 out of 5 from Trustpilot. So if you'd like to take up the offer, go to ipvanish.com/daytrippers. All the details are in the link below. Right, Kev, sorry. Let's talk about Champions League. I think that's one of my better links.
That's not bad, to be fair. You're getting better at it, mate.
I'm getting better.
It's a shame we're at the end of the season. But...
I know, so it's going to be all season, hasn't it? Something for next year.
Yeah. 100%. Look, there's going to be no shocks here. Arsenal blew it. It was in their hands. They haven't had a better chance of getting Champions League football than this season. I'm really disappointed because I tipped them up at the start of the season to get top four because I thought you have a clear run, you have a young squad, it's a good squad, and you've no Europe, you've no distractions. All you have to do is get it right on the training pitch and keep them fit. And they just bottled it. They just absolutely shit the bed. They did a proper Gary Lineker on it. And Spurs are going to absolutely trounce Norwich. They're going to rip them a new one. So,
like everybody else, to be fair.
Yeah, in all fairness, I don't care what sickness bug is running through Spurs at the minute. They could bring back your man on loan. They could bring Troy Parrott back in there, stick him up front, and you'll get a bag full.
They can stick Peter Crouch up front now.
Yeah, bring Jermaine Defoe back and stick Gary Lineker up top. It doesn't matter. They're getting hounded. Arsenal are mentally fried after what happened to them. They're safe in fifth. They're in the Europa League. I mean, look, if you'd have said to Arsenal at the start of the season, you'll get fifth, and you'll have a decent season. You ain't going to be far off top four. Yeah. You'll take that because of where they were coming from. But when it's in your hands,
it's the manner.
Yeah,
it's like the 2 years Leicester finished 5th. Is if you'd offer them at sort of season you'll finish 5th, they go only a couple of points off 4th. You go, good season, but the manner of being it basically almost like two hands on it, and then you drop it in the last 3 games. That's where it stings.
It's and it should sting, and it really should.
This is the best chance to get it.
Yeah,
there's going to be a lot of
one than this.
No, they're not. There's going to be an awful lot of people swirling around Arsenal. There's there's only 2 or 3 players in there that I'd consider looking at, and
but they're the key.
I mean, all the talk is going to be, go and get Saka, go and get
Martinelli.
I like Martinelli. The only one I'd go for there is Emil Smith Rowe. I really like the look of him. I think he's going to be a super player. He's still young. Martinelli is really good, no doubt, but I think Saka is massively overpriced for what he actually offers you.
Yeah, he's going to have 2 years left on this deal.
There's an awful lot of show. There's an awful
lot
of show.
Sign up. Arsenal were like, well, if you don't sign, we're going to sell you. Which, good luck.
I'll be honest. Plays with 2 years in the contract is Liverpool's sweet spot, but the English tax is a thing. Yeah. So
I don't think he signs personally. I think he's gonna.
I think it's going to be becoming a new modern trend where players are just going to run their contracts down.
It's the way they get moves these days, isn't it?
And it's going to become more and more common. So clubs are going to have to get really smart and accept the fact that you might sign a player for 5 years, you'll have him for 5 years, and then he will go off and sign a pre-contract and sign for someone else, and that's the end of it. I think clubs are getting wise to having to pay players 200 grand a week on top of a 50 or 60 or 70 million pound transfer fee. That only works if you're getting that money back in from selling another player. But if you're not able to sell those players, you're still going to have to pay out those wages. Those wages are disappearing from the club, never to be seen again.
Mm-hmm.
So there's only a certain amount of money you're allowed to spend, it's going to, the face of football is going to change over the next 5 years, I think, away from transfer fees and what have you. And we're lucky, we're really cute, we're really good with the kind of transfers that we're bringing in. We're bringing in some really good quality younger players. But I don't know. It's going to be a crazy summer. But yeah, I just think it's going to be as is for the top 4 for 4th place anyway.
Good question for you, Daz. What do you reckon to the Shaka fella? Do you reckon we should go for him? Apparently he's quite good.
Absolutely.
Or the other one is Ramsdale. Apparently he's better than Peter the Cat, the goalie from Roy of the Rovers. No, none of them floating your boat?
No, absolutely not. No, look, it's good in what Kev was saying there. Like, it's strange with Arsenal because Arsenal were they lost 3 in a row. Southampton beat them, Brighton, Palace slaughtered them. Then they went in a really good run. They beat Chelsea, they beat United in a game that might have been a different score if Ronaldo takes the penalty at 2-1. Then they beat Chelsea. And they was looking like, okay, that they're in full swing here for top 4 and it's in control. They're not playing Europe. They've now got cup competitions. I think they'd everybody fit. They brought back, Tommy Askew was back as well for them. And then, they just they went to Spurs, were annihilated. No heart, no fight, no desire, no nothing, no grit at all in the game. And then they, same on Monday night at Newcastle, offered nothing, conceded 5-2, hadn't scored a goal. And it summed up Arsenal really for me. I've always thought, especially in the last couple of years, Arsenal are always a game or 2 away from a complete disaster. It's a meltdown. It just sums them up for me. And it's not me having a go at Arsenal because I like Arsenal as a club, but they're always just seem to be a complete disaster. And they've been like that for a long time. But the years under Wenger, they were getting 4th place, they're getting Champions League. They went there, nothing really happened. They just don't seem to be a club. I don't know what's next for them. I don't know where they go. I don't know a lot about them. But from watching them this season and obviously seeing the results, I always felt if they got 4th place, they probably didn't deserve it because they've been really poor. United obviously had at one stage might have had a good chance. That they've been awfully bad this season, badly underachieved. West Ham, look, just ran out of legs and out of steam, but they had a good goal when they did play. And Spurs probably just deserve it. In the last couple of weeks, they've been very they've been really composed throughout these games. When they went to Anfield, I thought they've done really well and deserved to draw out the game. They 2 shots on target, probably the better chances than us. We too, even though we had a bit more creativity and a bit more huff and puff than them. But that you're going to get that at Anfield. You're going to play a side going for the title. But they look more like a team to me than the rest of them. So I think for sure is all they need is a draw against Norwich, which they're going to at least get that. And then will Arsenal beat Everton at this stage? You probably wouldn't even fancy that, even though Everton are up now. They'll be obviously still in party mode and a bit hungover. But for me, like Arsenal have really bottled it, complete bottle job, and it was sad to see because there was no excuses for them not to give more fight. Normally, when you're going for this, sometimes the better side wins or gets the achievement. What's at stake? But this season, for me, Arsenal, like in the last couple of weeks, they just didn't give it a go. It's like they give up. And when I watched them against Newcastle, it looked like Newcastle were the team against their rivals for 4th place. And Arsenal were the team on the beach, you know what I mean? And let's remember, it was a shootout again. We're talking about 1 place up for grabs to get Champions League next season. It was them and their rivals going for it, their biggest rivals, their North London rivals, and like they just folded. And I would have expected more heart and determination from Arsenal, but it doesn't really surprise me either.
No, I mean, Luke, we'll go back to these 2 sides. I mean, if I'll be honest, this is like a top 4 battle. I could not give a shit who won. I generally couldn't give a shit because I'm a bit like neither will do anything. I don't fancy even to do anything in Europe. At least with Chelsea, I look at the Chelsea side going. It's a side that's massively.
I don't think Chelsea can do
it. But I could see Chelsea if they keep that squad together. You can go. Chelsea still have a way of playing that gets you top 4 and gets you deep in European competitions. I just think Arsenal, Tottenham, United, they're all pretty flaky. I think West Ham were actually quite consistent. I think the thing that killed West Ham was injuries and
didn't get them striker in January.
And they had a proper go for the Europa League. And look, they were one the semi-finals away from a finals. Can't blame them. If you've got a chance of glory, you got to go for it. It just didn't quite work out for them. So how are you seeing this? And whoever, if we assume Spurs get top 4, what impact does that have for them next year? And what impact does Europa League football have for Arsenal? Because Arsenal back in Europe, because this season was the first season they've not played in Europe in the whole Premier League era. So again, it's a bit of the thing for Arsenal to get themselves back in Europe as well.
Well, for Spurs, I think it will keep Conte happy if they get top 4. Which means that he'll have a little bit more money to spend. I think you saw in January, Spurs made...
If he stays.
Pardon?
If he stays.
Yeah, if he stays. He probably is going to stay. Because where else is he going to go? PSG. Where Mbappe's going to tell him who to sign and who to get rid of when he signs that deal.
But he likes a big budget, and he's, to be fair to him, he knows how to manage big egos.
Yeah, so but I think what he's done
it might be a nice fit. But
with Spurs, since he comes into January, he made 2 smart additions and it shot them straight up the table. And I think he could do the same again in the summer. Spurs need probably a right wing back, another centre back, a midfielder, and they're probably good to go next year to fight for 3rd spot. But with Arsenal, absolutely bottled it. And I know is that from 8th they've just missed out on top 4. Some Arsenal fans see that as an improvement. I see that as no improvement. I think
8th to 5th. I think 8th to 5th is an improvement. I think it's the way they fell away. It's
all the stats show that they've not improved since last year. Conceded more goals, scored less goals.
It's one of the options. It's one of the options though that this Europa League could be a way of blooding in some of the more younger players that they want to blood in. Which, to be fair, we did that 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah,
we did it in the 2000s.
We did manager like this. Arteta is.
But we've done it 3 times.
He's like the worst of Pep, with worse overthinking it. That's who he is. The fact they gave him like a new deal before he even finished the job was criminal, to be honest, because he should have been. I should say should have been sacked because he spent over 250 million since he joined the club, and I just Ben White, Ramsdale, doesn't fill you with this side's ready to get to the top 4 or to challenge for the title in a few years' time. And Europa League, I feel like they're going to finish 8th next year, and then you hear the same thing. Oh, it's the Europe cost us, squad wasn't big enough, and Arsenal are just going to be in that hamster wheel, revolving around 5th to 8th.
It shows you as well, Luke, doesn't it? Like, because Ben White was tipped to even probably sign for us last summer, and he had a great season at Brighton, but now they label him the Seaside Mustafi Arsenal fan, because he hasn't lived up to the expectation and the price tag he went for. We end up getting Kanate, a lot less experience, no Premier League experience, come in at just off the back of 21, and we haven't lost since he's played. So like sometimes players are made out better than what they are, or fans think, he'll come in because he's this appearances, he's done this in the league, but well and truly, when the going gets tough, they just fold. They can't do it, and that's what's happened with Ben White this season. He's been a big letdown for me.
Yeah, and like their best centre back in Saliba is now saying that I want to stay in Marseille. I don't even want to go back.
Saliba won't go back to London. Whatever, something happened. Definitely, that when he went to London, he just had a massive falling out with someone at the club. Wanted to get back to France straight away. And he's got absolutely no intention of going back to London whatsoever. He's won Young Player of the Year in France this year. There's a deal to be done there for him to go somewhere.
It's a France international as well now, and that's
that's
to get in.
Yeah, he's going to end up going to the World Cup over Ibu. That's just the way it is.
Which is a good thing. It's a good thing. It's a good thing for us. It suits us. I mean, the other benefit for us with Ibu, which is possibly why he's not in the France squad yet, is Ibu came into Liverpool, but he wasn't going in as the starter. It was learn your trade, and you're going to battle with Matip. Ben White came in as probably the big hope of that'll fix the centre backs, and that's always the problem.
On like the centre back who's like 23, they should have got someone with more experience, with a bit of a character. But yet again, we've seen with Arteta and characters, doesn't like them, wants to bin them out straight away. Well, I don't really blame him for Aubameyang, but the fact is that they didn't get a replacement.
They didn't replace him. That's the thing that killed him. I think get rid of him was fine if you replaced him. They didn't replace him, which is a pain. So, what scores we going, Kev?
I think Arsenal beat Everton because, as Darren said, Everton are going to be in party mode. They're done. They're relaxed. They're on the beach now. I think Arsenal beat Everton 4-0. I can see that being a really comfortable home win for them. Spurs, Norwich, could be anything. Could be 5 or 6. It could be 5 or 6. If Kane and Son wraps up the golden boot in that game.
Yeah.
If he plays, he wraps up the golden boot. I could see 6-0. Genuinely. And that's not big. That would be the biggest score prediction I've ever given on this channel, but it's not unrealistic.
Yeah. What are you saying, Luke?
For Arsenal, Everton, I'll probably go 3-1 Arsenal. I think Calvert-Lewin's going to score because he's auditioning to leave in the summer, and I think he'll end up at Arsenal.
I think I'm
going to go 4-0 Spurs. I think Kev's right. Son's going to wrap up the golden boot. And Salah's going to be kicking himself for not finishing that race off.
I'll be honest, if he wins the Champions League, I don't think he'll give a shit. Personally, but we'll come to that there. We'll come to that because there was a key line Klopp said about Salah, which makes me think maybe the golden boot's not as important as some of us think. I've got the same scores as you. I've got 3-1 Arsenal, 4-0 Tottenham. But like Kev, if it was 6-0 Tottenham against Norwich, I wouldn't be surprised because Norwich are garbage. Daz, what have you got, mate?
2-0 Arsenal and 4-0 to Spurs.
Cool. So basically, so we're all saying Spurs have got top 4. So
what's more likely to happen?
Even Spurs can't mess this one up.
Arsenal to get top 4 or Liverpool to win the league? What's more likely?
Liverpool to win the league.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I think I saw someone said Arsenal to get top 4. And I was like, oh, that's gonna be that's gonna be proper Spursy.
Right. Right. I'm gonna give you 2 games now. I just literally want a score prediction because, quite frankly, these are 2 games nobody gives a shit about because basically they don't affect anything. Chelsea versus Watford. I've got 3-0 Chelsea.
2-0 Chelsea.
3-1.
What have you got, Daz?
4-1 Chelsea.
4-1. Nice and easy.
4 goals.
And an even more irrelevant game. Leicester at home to Southampton. I mean, generally Just call it off, lads. No one cares.
2-1 Leicester.
4-0.
Which way?
4-0 Leicester.
Listen, it's Brendan Rodgers. Anything's possible. I'll go 2. Yeah, I'll go 2-0 Leicester. Right, we've left it long enough. The big one.
Well, you're going. You jammy fuck.
You're going.
Oh, did I mention that?
Oh,
Yeah.
He's turning it into Keith went to see Brentford. Chris has gone to see what.
I only do big. But I only do big games.
You only do the big ones, Chris. Yeah, you only go.
Champions League semi-finals. Last games of the season. I just do the big games. Sadly not a final. Unfortunately, you're never going to take it for a final. But never mind. So this is it. Do we all believe there's a hope? Statistically, apparently, there's a 19% chance of Liverpool actually doing this, which is higher than I thought it would be. You're thinking
you come in 19% in the Grand National, I take 19%. 19% in a 2-horse race.
I thought 90% was high.
Yeah, I think it is as well.
So let's go through. Go on,
sorry, go ahead.
Go on, Daz. Let's talk about Liverpool Wolves. We'll come to them in a minute.
Yeah, look, Liverpool Wolves, it's similar. It was 3 seasons ago, 2019. Liverpool beat Wolves 2-0, done the business on the day for probably 3 or 4 minutes that day. We celebrated. One hand on the title. Brighton got 1-0 up, but it didn't last long. City come back and annihilated them away at Brighton, which was potentially a tougher game than what Sunday's game is from where they're at home. They're obviously more experienced now. City, they're going for 4 titles out of 5, which, look, credit to them. If you ask, I suppose, look, if you gave both of them options, Liverpool would probably more want to win the league this season because return of fans, get the second league title, which would obviously be huge in the 30, is it 3 years now? We'd have got out of the way, have them win and won, get our second. City, I think, would definitely want the Champions League because that's something that's they just can't seem to get to. I mean, we talk about bottle jobs and about how Arsenal folded. I watched that game against Real Madrid and I knocked her off with, I think it was 86 minutes gone, and I was watching with my missus and knocked her on, flicked by it on 90 odd minutes. It was 2-1 to Madrid. You still think City might do something extra time, how good they are, how good they were over the 2 legs. They should have had the first leg put to bed and should have been probably going to Madrid and even been able to rotate by being comfortable, And they obviously conceded a poor penalty and that they were just really a complete bottle job, but they really folded when they were under pressure. And City have done that a couple of times this season. Now, very few times where they've really folded and ran out of ideas. Pressure of last game of the season is we seen City 10 years ago, the unveiling recently of the Aguero statue. He gets that moment, but we're almost on that day.
The which statue? The one looks like Tony Cruz.
Yeah.
Nothing like
Aguero, wasn't it? Yeah.
Oh, by the way, apparently Avo in the chat is going to get me thrown out of the Anfield for his seat. Try wrestling that for my daughter as well. She'll sort you out as well. So.
Right. But we seen that day they were probably seconds away from blowing it against QPR. So the last day of the season, strange things can happen. All the pressure's on City because the minimum for City this season was to win a trophy. The minimum when you're 14 points ahead is to see the league title out. When you look at, we're talking about a City team that even when Pep came in, they were already winning league titles. We're talking about this year, as I said, the 10th year since the Aguero moment, that they won their first Premier League. Since then, they've just been relentless, trophy after trophy. But the one thing they didn't obviously win was the European Cup, got to one final. Didn't show up on the day against Chelsea, got everything wrong. Last day of the season in the Premier League, as I said, they're going for 4 out of 5. I would fancy City to win it, and it's highly unlikely that Villa are going to do anything in the day, whether they get the draw or beat them. But you just never know. The longer the game goes on, 0-0, the longer the game goes on, City are just winning 1-0. Or a moment of madness in the game, a sending off, a penalty. Even with that, though, look, I'm trying to have me Liverpool blinkers on. You'd still fancy City all day long because this is a final to them. And as I said, the minimum requirement for them now is to win this trophy. But, and it is a big but, they're expected to do it, obviously. But the big but is will they come under pressure? And if Liverpool go a goal up and they're 0-0, and you know the way the messages go around last day of the season, we've all seen it over the years, and Liverpool are winning, they're not. How do their players come under pressure, because we know the Liverpool players have been extraordinary, so relentless this season. It's been the best Liverpool team in my lifetime. But how we come under pressure and that nerve has been extraordinary, and I've never seen it. I don't think City would be able to do the same. Having said all that and going on that rant, it's 90 minutes. Liverpool have to beat Wolves, and we're hoping, obviously, for a little bit of a miracle at the Etihad. But it's possible, and if any team can make it the impossible possible, we know it's this Liverpool team. The only thing is what Kev said is, I think he said earlier on at the show, it's not in our hands, and that's the only thing, and it never was this season. But we go into this last game, Chris, I will go in, you'll go to the game full of pride, in party mode, and whatever happens, happens. If we were to win it, the relief of that and what that would do. But it doesn't matter, because we've Paris the week after. 6 days later, we've Paris with Real Madrid. A chance to get a 7th European Cup, a chance to get our 2nd European Cup in 5 years under Klopp. These are the days, unbelievable. And we've went the distance in every competition. So Sunday will be our 62nd game. Someone put in the comments there earlier, we've only lost 3 games, 2 of those in the league, and 1 was against Inter Milan, a game that we'd already sewn up. We made changes, and another night of Salah's shooting boots on, we win that game comfortable enough. That's unbelievable. We've only lost 1 in the last 32 or 33 games in all competitions. And I think we've won 25 or 26 of those in a period where we players out in African Cup of Nations. We were in League Cup, FA Cup finals. We'd obviously played City 3 times in that period. It's been extraordinary. I can't speak highly enough of this Liverpool team. So it gives me some optimism and some small bit of hope going into this last day of the season that we can do it. But we just got to win. That's the most important thing, because there'll be nothing worse than we don't win and then we find out the result went our way. But obviously it wasn't enough, you know.
But Kev, our hopes are in Tyrone Mings' hands, which is...
Yeah, I've seen that comment.
He had a great block.
I saw that. I thought...
Did you see that?
You've just used up your good block in the wrong
way. It's like deflating the balloon then, wasn't it? It was like...
The block he put in for Villa the other night,
he's got to do a lot more of them,
was unreal. The thing is, it's a different game than the Burnley game. Villa won't have the ball. They'll have to sit in. They'll have to defend. But you look at the 3 that they'll put the 3 dogs in midfield. You have Douglas Luiz, you have John McGinn, and the other fella, what's his name?
You have McCamber or Jacob Ramsey.
Yeah, McCamber. It'll be McCamber, I'd imagine.
Ramsey off the bench, I would say.
But those 3 in front of a back 4, they'll be tough to break down. I expect City should win. The only thing that gives me hope is the fact that Villa have the pace and the strikers to hurt any side on a break.
Kyle Walker's back.
They clapped us 7 last year.
Kyle Walker's back for City, but I mean, they rushed him back last time.
Yeah, they rushed him back. I couldn't care less. Kyle Walker plays.
He rushed him back against Madrid, and he did all right in Madrid until he had to get...
He did until 60 minutes when they realised his ankle was still...
The thing is, Villa don't attack in the wings. Villa attack through the middle.
Through the middle.
And they'll play...
That's where City have got a problem.
Yeah, they'll play 4-3-1-2. They'll play Coutinho on a free roll. And you'll have Ings and Watkins playing up front, trying to go for long balls in over the top. And that's where this City side can be got at. When you can turn them around and make them go the other way, you ask them questions and they don't like it. The likes of Palace are very good at doing that to them. So Villa are capable of scoring. It's just I don't think they're capable of keeping them out.
Yeah.
Not all. I mean, look, Emi Martinez is a very, very good keeper. If he turns into Emi Martinez stroke Yashin and has the game of his season, which he's capable of, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Football this season has gone. There's been so many twists and turns. I would never write off this possibility. If you were asking me to put my last tenner on this game, it's going on Man City all day long, every day of the week, because that's what my head tells me. They're a relentless side. They're brilliant at home. But, and that's the thing with this Man City side, there is a but. They can be got at. if a side is brave. If you're brave against this City side, you hold the ball, you beat the press, you can get at them. Yeah, West Ham proved that. And you don't have to be world class. You don't have to be a superstar player. You just have to be confident in your ability to be able to get through the press and get at them on the other side.
We've seen so many times this season, Kev, haven't we, that the opposition lost it in the tunnel, just going out and just not showing that fight or determination. What the likes of Palace done a couple of weeks back, what West Ham done, you know what I mean? And if you like, Villa have nothing to play for in this game, and that's where it could go wrong for City. And if Villa come out, give it our absolute everything, and are dogged and are organised, I'm not saying, look, City will drop points, but they can make it a lot of a contest and a lot of a tougher game for them. It's City's last game of the season, and I'm just hoping and praying, and it's obviously Villa's that Villa can give them a real test and make them work for this. I think, I'm hoping.
You were right in what you said earlier on. All the pressure is on Man City. They have to get the win. There's no way in hell they're 14 points behind, even with games in hand. We shouldn't have been anywhere near close. And that's the truth. We were going into the AFCON, losing our best players. And City should have been out of sight. They had one. You literally had people saying they had one hand on the trophy. It's theirs. The season is over.
You have the players saying that.
Yeah. And we just went on a run. And I think it was Keith was saying it. There's only two sides capable of doing these kind of runs in the league. That's us and City. No, Chelsea can't do it. None of the others can put a run like this together. And look, in truth, City should see out. They should. But I don't know. Something in me tells me that there's going to be twists. And the players if you believe in stories in football, and I do, the amount of times you see ex-players going back to their old clubs and putting in a performance or getting a goal against sides that benefit someone that they used to play for. You've seen it with Taki in the week, going to Southampton and scoring. Football is littered with those kind of stuff.
This was talked about for months, Kev, as well. And you allude to lads that it was talked about City last game of the season, they play Gerrard, Coutinho, Ings, all this sort of stuff. And now it's happening. And now it's happening where we've brought, and Kev makes a good point, that 14 points ahead, they've won hand on the trophy. But we've got to the final, 2 finals and to a Champions League final. And normally when you do that well in those competitions, you already win 2 and now obviously going for the third in the European Cup, you generally drop off in the league. And we haven't. We've went all the way. Like, City must be thinking, what the fuck have we done wrong? Like, Liverpool are winning everything. They're the most informed team. They're talked about. Everything they touch is goal at the moment. Everything.
The rest of the country wants us to win as well,
As Pep says, we are a pain in his arse.
If you listen to Pep, but so it's unbelievable. It's been extraordinary. And as I said, like, you can't praise this Liverpool team high enough. And if it doesn't turn out to what we want it to be on Sunday, like, every Liverpool fan will leave Anfield on Sunday proud and just looking forward now to Paris. But imagine the feeling if one of the ex-players done something, and if we want to imagine, like, we'd be in party mode going to Paris, like, our heads would come off. We'd be going there hungover, and like, you'd be then thinking, like, we've done the treble. If we really want this quadruple to happen, which, look, it was just a bit of banter.
It's in the stars, mate. Origi has one moment left in this season.
That's the European Cup final. That's his forte.
Yeah, that's his moment.
Yeah.
By the way, I realised, not that any of us will give a shit, but we've got to talk about who's going to qualify for the Europa Conference. Is it Man United? Is it West Ham?
Oh, who gives up?
I've gone West Ham win 2-0 and United just draw with Palace. So actually, West Ham get a goal difference. We all happy with that?
Yeah.
I put Palace down for 2-2.
Say again, sorry.
United are only 2 points ahead of West Ham, but
their goal difference. But West Ham's goal difference, I think, is better.
Yes, so United draw, West Ham win. West Ham are in there. Yeah, well, let's hope so. West Ham had a really good season, and the one thing they've done, that United haven't done is they've shown that fight and real determination, and they've dug deep, you know what I mean? Where United, on the other hand, they've been the complete opposite.
If only, Craig, send Regan on Mercy loan to Villa. If only.
If it was Mercy loan Van Dijk to Villa, I'd be like, yeah.
Right, so let's talk about Liverpool then. So Klopp has some interesting chats in his post-match, in his pre-match. Sorry, one of his interesting lines was, I don't know whether he misspoke or he said, Mo doesn't want to risk it but he'll be fine for the Champions League final. But he's been training today. So if that's true, is that Mo saying, I'm not arsed, but as much as I'd like to win the Golden Boot, I'd rather win the Champions League? So I'm going to play a little game with you guys. You can all answer each. I'll give you a player. You tell if they start. If they're going to start, they're on the bench, or they're not even in the squad. Fabinho, Daz, start, bench, or not in the squad?
Not in the squad.
Not in the squad. Okay.
Agreed.
Kev?
Agreed.
Right. I also agree. So all four of us think Fabinho's not in the squad. No. Van Dijk, start, bench, not in the squad.
Bench,
yeah. I think he's back.
Bench.
I'll go on. I'll say he starts, just to shits and giggles. Salah.
Bench.
I think he starts.
I think he benches him. So, okay. Well, interesting. I'm just curious because Van Dijk and Salah seem the most likely to that will get minutes. Fabinho to me just looks like he's in.
Yeah, again, good comment by Sam. Van Dijk starts and give Konate rest.
True. Because Konate played a lot of games. If Konate's going to start the final, which is something we can preview next week.
The only thing I would say there is because Konate obviously hasn't played the minutes this season what Matip or Van Dijk has, and he's so young he is. I think he'd be okay even if he started this week, and then there's not the next game then is until a week later against Madrid. So I wouldn't be surprised if Konate. Well, I think he will start this game alongside Matip, and then the final he plays alongside Van Dijk for just the pace of Vinicius up there from Madrid and that, and also the stat is I think come that final it'll be like 30 games he's played by Liverpool and hasn't lost. So you want that omen going into a final, don't you, to continue?
You do.
Yes,
MC's telling me VVD, Fabinho, and Salah need rhythm going against final. You can't bring them into cold, Chris. It's not my decision. I don't have that sort of influence, unfortunately.
Why?
Why not? Do you know what? Somebody they don't some daft lad on the internet. So, it's funny that, isn't it? Yeah. But look, Salah and Van Dijk I'm not worried about because it's less than 2 weeks they've not really played for. So I don't think you lose much. Fabinho's one you worry about for lack of rhythm. But maybe we might not see Fabinho start the final. It's looking more and more likely that Fabinho is a last.
I think he's the last. He's a gamble when it comes down to it.
Even though that he said that it'll be fine for the final, like he said, in interviews that I'll be playing in the final. So
the only thing that helps you for the gamble is because it's 5 subs. It does give you the option to gamble, but I think ideally Klopp would like at least 2 of them to be not seen as gambles. So maybe a Salah Van Dijk off it to play an hour or at least play. Then he can go, well, they're not gambles then, they're just fit, which then means I'm okay. Fabinho's money risk.
Another thing is as well, I suppose, and we tend to forget this because we're still in a title race, you don't want any other injury Sunday, and that's why I think this would be an interesting team selection and even who's on the bench, because a chance where something we have got control of and something that we've some authority in the say is obviously going into the final against Madrid, where the Wolves game, it's not in our hands, but we all know what can happen if the result is different. So it's 2 finals really, but it's mad to think that we're 2 games away from possibly winning everything. It's crazy.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Mental, isn't it?
It is mental because no matter which way you dress this up, the fact that we're going to play 63 games and play for every major competition that's available to us and be in with a shout of winning the lot. It's never been done. Well, it's never been done for a reason, and I firmly believe with the new format of the Champions League, it will never be done again. It'll be impossible because to do it all under the new system, you'll have to play 71 games.
I think the last British side to do it was Celtic in the 60s.
Yeah, Lisbon
Lions.
Lions, yeah.
So that's the last British side to do it. I'm not even sure if the English side have done it. So that's why. It's
wasn't it Chelsea? We beat their record at the start of May. where we'd gone the fourth in the competitions. Chelsea got that far. I think we just broke it out the end of April or first week of May, where they were still on for the quad. But we've gone that before that now, so we've broken that. Yeah, but it's crazy because
I mean, the thing is, Wolves are gonna love nothing more than to come and spoil the party, and Wolves are a decent side.
Connor Cody to score. Oh,
they've been off the boil recently.
They have, Kev, yeah.
They have a couple of very good players. They have a couple of very good players, and for some of them, it's going to be their last game. I think you look at the likes of Ruben Neves if he plays. João Moutinho, you don't know how many more years that he's got in him. They've lively up front. Raul Jimenez is a brilliant number 9. You know, he's one player that since the injury, since he's come back into football, you know, you just willing him to get back to where he was. Obviously not for this weekend, but Pedro Neto's back.
He's still finding his feet, isn't he? He's doing well.
He is. They're a really dangerous side if they're on it. So as much as we think, you know, it's a gimme, and I think we'll do our job. I think we win 2-0. I don't think we
don't
can
give it away, Kev.
No, I just don't think we can afford to be anywhere near weak going into. I don't think we can be sentimental either in the selections. I think Klopp will go as strong as possible without putting players in that are in the red zone at risk. I think he made enough changes at Southampton to be able to go strong.
9 changes,
yeah. I think he will go as strong as possible.
Okay. So, give us a lineup, Kev.
All right. Go with Alisson and goal.
Rubbish.
Trent, Matip, Konate, Costas.
Ooh.
Midfield of Henderson, Naby Keita, and Thiago.
Yep.
I've gone for Bobby, Salah, and Diaz.
Ooh. Okay, so you said 2-0. Who are your scorers?
Bobby gets 1 and Mo gets 1.
Okay. Luke, is this the Reece Williams game?
No.
You're never gonna let that prediction down, are you, bud?
Yeah, no, never. I'll go Alisson in goal. I'll go Trent, Matip, Konate. I'll probably go Robertson. Now midfield, I'll go with the same midfield as Kev, and then I think up front I'll go Minamino on the right.
Ooh.
And I'd go Mane down the middle and Diaz on the left.
Okay, what score are you going?
I'm going 2-0, Minamino and Divock Origi to score off the bench.
Okay. Right, go on then, Daz. Give us your lineup. Give your goals. Give your scorers.
I'll go with the same defence as Luke. Robbo comes in, Basimikas, Konate, obviously Matip, Trent in midfield. Wouldn't be surprised if we see Milner start this, but I do think it'll be Hendo, Keita, and Thiago because of what we have to play for. And up front, I'm going to go with Jota, Bobby, and Diaz. I think Mane, Salah on the bench, Origi on the bench. And then again, I wouldn't be surprised to see Curtis Jones come in. Like it's hard to know what we're going to do really, and like
nice to have options, isn't it?
We've options, we do, and at this stage, the season is great. But I do think as much as, and I think it'll frustrate Klopp slightly, not much that the game's coming up so quick then against Madrid. But it's good for us because remember the last time we played Wolves, it was 3 weeks later for the Champions League final against Spurs. You could see both teams hadn't much fluidity or rhythm in that game. Spurs actually played well for large periods of the game, but Bobby Firmino come back in that game for us. He was injured before that, and it was just too much of a big gap. And we know Klopp has emphasised before that fluidity, that rhythm, having that, and that's what will suit us. So I think it's 2 cup finals more or less for us. A couple of changes Sunday with the big one in mind that we have control of, the Champions League, and let's see what happens. But yeah, it's a game for Origi to come on and score in, I think.
Okay. Origi will definitely come on. He'll, as long as the game is in our favour, 15, 20 minutes, 20 to go.
If the game's not in our favour, I'm throwing Origi on. He loves.
I would as well. Yeah. He just looks lively. Look, he's one of these players that he can do some. He always looks likely.
He's the best. He's probably one of the best bench players we've had. He's one of the best, I think, at coming off. He's not great as a starter, I don't think, but he's brilliant.
I think off the bench he's brilliant.
He's right. I think because he's so laid back, I think that also helps him when he comes on as an impact. So
did you guys see that?
I don't think he feels the occasion. The only time I've seen him get annoyed is in that Liverpool thing where they do a prank on him, and he has a
go today,
and he goes at a fella for having to be rude. It's dead funny.
Yeah. It's very good.
You're standing up. He's there. He's standing up for the fan who's like won his competition to be there, and he's standing up for him. I just thought that's a mark of the man.
It did take.
You know what I mean?
It did take a couple of years ago. Did I get the joke? Because I was thinking, like, he's a big lad. You don't really want him coming at you because
you wouldn't like him when he's angry.
No, I don't think I would. So
the last time we played Wolves this season, I think it was 93rd or 4th minute. Rigi scored at Molineux. We won 1-0. Just in December there, I remember watching it, and there was a game you just thought nail on all over it, and then we got the late winner. So what a huge 3 point that was. So it could be the same against Wolves the weekend where he comes on and scores, but hopefully we don't need him.
Okay. So my lineup, I've gone with Ali in goal, Trent, Matip, Canate, Robbo, Henderson, Keita, Thiago, and I go for front three of Mane, Bobby, and Diaz. And I'm going to go for 3-0, Mane, Canate, and Divock. And my prediction is for the Liverpool game is it's going to be a carbon copy of when we beat Middlesbrough on the last game of the season. It's going to be nervy. It's going to be horrible.
It's going to be
and Mane will open
exactly the same.
But Mane will open the score
18-19.
But I'm going to because Mane's going to open the scoring right on half time, and then it'll be relaxed. But until the first goal, it's going to be horrible.
It's going to be the same as 18-19.
I don't think it's going to score. I think it all everyone's
score first,
but everyone's nerves is going to be dictated to by the other game. As long as Villa are in it,
I'm going to have the other game.
Everyone's going to be on the edge of the seat. I can't do that.
I will because I'm that type.
Well,
I'm going to take the punishment.
I'm not a sadist.
Well, just in case they mention I'm at the game, so actually I won't be able to. So, but I'll just have to keep. I'll have to hope someone tells me. Fuck it. I'm going to go City 2-2. 2-2. Late equaliser for City to make it 2-2.
Don't do this to me.
Do you know what? If I'm wrong, guess what? What do I lose out on? Absolutely not. You may as well listen. It's this late in the season. You may as well just go fuck it. Hope for the best. If he does, worst case scenario is we'll finish second and we're going for a 7th Champions League final.
I'll tell you one thing, right? Villa are very strong at set pieces. People take the mickey out of Tyrone Mings and what have you. Tyrone Mings is 6'5", and
I wish Fernandinho started centre back.
I don't believe this stuff for a second about John Stones and Kyle Walker. And if they play, how fit are they? You know, I honestly, I look at.
I can't see them playing. 2 weeks ago, they were ruled out for the season.
Logic.
Well,
I think. Look, my head says
to lie about it, would he?
My head says 3-1 Villa, or sorry, 3-1 City.
3-1 Villa.
Yeah, my head says
Villa. That's it. You've said it. It's in the internet. No, that's it. You won't forget it now. That's it.
That's it. No, 3-1 City, but
Kev, don't. Spoil
I would love it. I would love it.
He's gone Kevin Keegan now. God.
No, I'm not going all Kevin Keegan. Villa are capable of getting something. And I would love it if Villa got something.
Yeah, screw it. I'm going to say 2-2.
Yeah.
I'm writing the same thing as Callum. All the belts, all the medals, all the gold.
As I have pointed
out, Callum's gone all in on hard, isn't he?
He has.
2-2. I'm in.
But the wind-up line to do someone is that I see Villa getting the results. I say to people, you do know a loss is actually a result. It's just not a positive one. So, you're going to take over that.
2-2. Why not?
Sam Tandy, to be fair, has been very positive. City lose 1-0, but we'll have so many chances not to take any of them that everyone. If they had Haaland, oh yeah. Oh, do you know what? I'll be all right.
People are in for a big shot next year because I don't think Haaland's going to have this big of impact. I reckon he's going to spend more time on the injury bench than he is on the pitch.
That's the risk with him, but
Kevin Ball is right. 1-1, why not? And in fairness, better sides than Villa or worse sides than Villa have taken points off him this season. So
Southampton.
Yeah, go on, 2-2.
My prediction will be Liverpool win 2-0, I think, and hopefully we have a nice, easy enough afternoon, no scares. And City just, again, nerves get to them, the occasion. They draw 1-1. They'll have a similar game to what they had away at Palace, 19 shots on goal, dominate possession, but nothing clear cut. And I'm just hoping Villa score, City have a man sent off or something, and then, Villa get a 1-1 draw. That'd be unbelievable. But it would, in many ways, epitomise where we're at, and we have to rub it green. You know, two League Cup, or 2 finals. We deserve to win 2, by the way, but we win them on penalties. The luck is on our side, and hopefully, just praying that it goes away Sunday. But if it doesn't, we've nothing to lose.
That's a really good shout by Red Steve there, Peppel Pepe.
Well,
I wonder if he overthinks it.
I don't know, you know.
The Vidal Mohawk could still be happening yet, Kev.
It is still possible. It is still possible.
In case you didn't know, his dad, Kev is going to get a Vidal Mohawk if we win the quad.
Well,
the only thing, there is conditions attached.
No, it's on the internet. That's
it.
You said it.
But it's to do. That's all. Donations for that is to go to Féileacáin.
That's fair enough. That's also, City will have a pitch invasion with their 2 fans.
And yes, Kevin, but Haaland will be at the game. Him and his dad will both be there.
Kev, cover your ears for this bit, because I think if this happens, I'm not sure your health will take it.
Oh no, I got dodgy.
The most Liverpool thing to happen will be City draw 2-2.
Don't you dare.
Minutes ago, it's still 1-1 at Liverpool, and Divock, last kick of the game. That would actually be the most Liverpool way of winning something.
Yeah,
I will cry.
It would, wouldn't it?
That would be the most. That would be as we're City are doing the United thing of going, well, we've drawn. You know, how will Liverpool get it's still 1-1, and I
want our own Aguero moment. I just want
we have
But the best of it is Martin Tyler won't be doing the Liverpool game.
Brilliant.
Oh, hallelujah.
Yeah.
Oh, my days.
There is no way in hell that he's going to be doing anything other than...
City fans have been moaning about Martin Tyler as well. And I was like, this is what happens when he doesn't like your club. He doesn't give it.
I think he just fell out of love with football, Martin Tyler.
Yeah.
if it's not United, he doesn't care.
Grealish in 90 minutes own goal would be lovely. Yeah, it would be. It would be.
Fantastic.
Well, we'll take anything. We'll take any bit of hope that's going, and we'll ball it all up. And on Sunday at 6 p.m, we'll know.
Yeah,
cool.
No matter what happens by 6 p.m.
You know, if we don't end up winning the league, we'll see Everton fans,
what about it?
United fans saying, you didn't win the league. Well, you go and celebrate in 16th, and you go and celebrate.
I generally couldn't care
playing around the football pitch with a train track on it. So
the only ones who can come out and have a word are City fans, and where I live, I won't ever see one, so it doesn't matter. I couldn't care less. I've never gone into work and seen a Man City fan. It just doesn't happen.
Yeah, and like in relation to that, I think wasn't a Neville like it came out United signed Varane, Sancho, Kane, they'll win the league and they'll come back. Then United fans got Ronaldo win, so that was a sign that the fans wanted. But the difference is with Liverpool is off the pitch, on the pitch, everything is being spot on, recruitment, investment, everything, sponsors that we have, what we're making from them. But United are signing players for the fans, and it's almost like a game of FIFA to them. Oh, he's doing well, his stats are good, bring him in, return back the legend. Where Liverpool are doing it a different way. Like we've bought in players in the past that some of us hadn't known much about. And it's true, Klopp doesn't buy superstars, he makes superstars. And where we're at as a club, the manager signed a new contract the last couple of weeks. Knocked City out of semis of the FA Cup, go on and beat Chelsea in the FA Cup, and beat Chelsea in the League Cup. 2 teams that were predicted by a lot of pundits and ex-players to finish ahead of us this season, and so we United in that. So for Liverpool to go to the last game of the season, if we do lose the league and then to a Champions League final, it's been absolutely extraordinary, exceptional, and no fan that is a fan or even a half a fan can have a go or can criticise that to do with Liverpool. They really can't. They can have a bit of banter. I don't even think they can have banter at this stage because what would it be for? Like, you didn't win the league, but so what? Because as I said, Liverpool fans are going to go there. We go there with hope in our heart as we do, like the anthem says, but we will go there full of pride and in party mode because we're already looking forward to Paris. Like, I'm not thinking as much as this game the weekend. Obviously, when it comes around, I will. But for me, it's all about the Champions League final. And my thoughts and mine now is on the treble. If a miracle happened, and if it did, then it's a quadruple. But listen, to slander a team that hasn't won the league and has went with probably the greatest Premier League team of all time that are gone for 4 out of 5, by the way, who've heavily invested, who've had money to burn, is extraordinary. And we've done it the right way. Net spend, recruitment on players, the unity, to togetherness, everything that you want, the basics you want in football, what you want your kids and your upcoming players to go out and play like Liverpool are doing. Go out with heart, with fight, with unity, play for each other. And Liverpool are doing all that, and we're a great advert to the game. And we've made this league the best there is because we've been the way we've been, because it hasn't went like the Bundesliga or Serie A, because we've competed with City, where any other year no one competes with City. Like you seen last season, United finished second, but they were miles and miles behind City, and in the end we nearly caught up on them, and the problems we had all season long. So I don't think anyone can even banter us, to be honest, lads. We have
spot on, mate. Well
absolutely
said.
Extraordinary.
Anyway, what's this quad talk? What's it when you win 5? Is it quintuplet?
Oh yeah, because
we've already got the trouble with the women winning the league as well. So we've got the Open Cup boss parade for.
I'll tell you one thing, mate. When we beat Madrid, the Super Cup is going to be crazy.
Oh, Frankfurt, yeah.
Frankfurt fans.
I'll be at the trophy parade. Hopefully, should be in the Champions League.
Yeah.
I was only saying to one of the lads recently, like we've another chance now in December next year, because I think with the World Cup being on,
it'll be in January.
Yeah. Like we have a chance of being world champions again, because the last time we got that, I milked it a bit now, because
guess what? When we win that tournament, we won't be able to wear the badge.
Oh, we will. They allowed Chelsea to do it this year, so
So listen, just before we go, don't forget our charity Féileacáin. Details are over the description below. Listen, we're trying our best to get this to this 10k. So like, share. If you can donate, please donate. If you can't, just share it out, get it out there, and do everything we can to try and help this charity, because at some point, sadly, people will be affected by what they cover. And look, 10k goes an awful long way for these guys. So please do what you can, like, share. And in terms of the rest of the week, day off tomorrow, because there's no real footy apart from a bit of playoffs. Final. There's a playoff final, so we can watch that.
Wickham.
And Sunday, I don't know if there's going to be a full-time Reds because I'm not here. So, it depends if Kev can get someone to...
I don't know what's going on.
I would assume...
I don't think there will be. I think it all depends on what happens on the day. I think if there's a positive result for us, someone somewhere will get something out there. But just keep your alerts. Just turn on your notifications. If you're subscribed to the channel like you all are, and if you're not, you should be. Slap your hands if you're not.
It will come find you.
Turn on the notifications on your whatever devices you're watching, and whenever we go live, you'll get a ping on your device. Happy days. Cool. What are you guys up to anyway for the weekend, Luke? What you got on?
He's working.
I'm actually working in my old job tomorrow, and
last day,
and I still got uni work to do. So, but Sunday.
Oh shit, Luke, guys, if you haven't checked it out yet, get on Luke Tanner 257 on his Twitter feed. He's put out a video today for his university project, and it's a behind the scenes look at St. Martin's Football Club.
Yep,
and it's really, really good. It's really interesting. It's really well worth sticking on. Give it a share and give it a like on YouTube as well. Definitely well worth looking at. But it's on it
would be great.
But it's on his Twitter feed.
I'll be able to in 10 minutes.
Get in and have a look at it. It's for his university project, and it's
on my university really portfolio YouTube channel, which is just dedicated just for my uni work. But I do have an actual channel that I'll be doing content on soon.
Jolly good. Daz, where can everyone find you?
Yeah, so YouTube, I'm doing a bit in it lately, not putting as much time or effort into, as I said, just being flat out work and loads of other things going on over on Daz TV and YouTube. Kev has been on a couple of times, hoping to get him more kicking off in the summer, and obviously for the new season. I've been saying that a while, but it does take a lot of commitment and putting the work and time into it and getting people on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter as well. I use social media, but it's mostly just around Liverpool content. My life's revolving around football at the moment, as I said, and that's why I'm looking forward to kind of the season end and just having that bit of break away from me, because it's been relentless, especially this season with how good we've been. And I suppose the plans for the weekend are it'd be a bit easier than last weekend. We were out partying for the FA Cup final. Went out, we were into town in Dublin city centre. Great crack out, great day and night out, and yes, next week is saving everything till then for the Champions League final. But this weekend, we'll watch it at home. Couple of beers Sunday, and you never know, could be a bit more extravagant if we win it, but we'll see.
Plus, I mean, look after Kev. You know, he is a bit of a diva, as we know. Luke, his demands are terrible sometimes.
Well, when you're worth it, you're worth it, as the advert says.
Yes.
So you say. So after Fatback 4 Sunday, the rest of the week, just keep your eyes out. I'm pretty certain you'll have all your Champions League.
Massive Champions League build up.
Probably a little bit of Divock as well, because you know this is going to be his last home game for Liverpool, which is you know he's had some mad career for Liverpool. Just if you YouTube all Divock's goals, you realise there's some massively mad goals in there. And I definitely think we're going to have a talk about that. And me and Kev can't wait for our last football Sports Unplugged of the season. So listen, Kev and I have enjoyed taking over Sports Unplugged. We've had a laugh. Obviously, we've brought Luke on as well. You know, so bless you, Luke, take it on us too. But listen, once the season's over, obviously we'll try and mix it up a little bit. So in the comments, just leave feedback what you liked this season, what you didn't like, what you want more of, and also what you want us to cover in the summer, because we can
talk about Mbappe coming to Liverpool. Yeah,
we could. I'm sure transport will be in there.
He's on about doing a Kobe Bryant, not Kobe Bryant. What's it? LeBron James style TV reveal of where he's going to go next. Yeah,
he is going to sign for PSG, and he's going to become the owner, the sporting director, the coach, the manager, the tea lady.
He's a great player. He's a great player.
He's not worth the hassle.
He's not worth the baggage.
I now question his ambition.
Yeah. He ain't worth. He's a great talent. He's a great player.
You're in the wrong team and in the wrong league. Because no one cares about this.
What was that there? You've got a lot of others. I mean, you've got the Indy 500 on this weekend. You've got the Spanish Grand Prix. You've got the PGA Golf is on at the minute. Cricket starting soon. England's first test against New Zealand. That'll be over.
There'll be loads of runs for New Zealand. It's worth it just to watch. Yeah. You know, you've got a last legal fan now. It's just there's loads of runs, just not for it.
I'll tell you one thing, Chris. You're definitely going to have to get into the GA on a Saturday night on Sky.
You're going to educate me on this, aren't you?
Yeah, because it's shaping up to be a decent. The hurling season is shaping up to be pretty decent. The Munster, Munster hurling finals, Clare and Limerick. That's on a tour list in a few weeks. That'll be good.
Yeah, and I think going into the summer, I think last summer we did a bit of a review of like Champions League runs. We might try to do something similar. Maybe not Champions League runs. We might do a bit of pick a random season, do a bit of a season review, spread it out over about 6-7 weeks. Talk about so many weeks and months.
I'll tell you one thing. This season, this
could be the one.
Off season is going to be quick. Yes. They'll be back into pre-season, and the season starts early. The transfer window is going to be open soon. It's going to be business left, right, and center. There's going to be some big moves. You know, we'll discuss all of that stuff through the summer as well.
And of course, the women's show will continue. We'll have a break over the summer, and then I'm hoping to try and get more content out next season. And if I can, try and get a few more player interviews. Keep badgering the club often enough. It might. Well,
now they're back in the WSL. And that's going to be really good as well, because it gets a lot more coverage. You get BBC are taking a big interest in the WSL, and Sky are going to be really pushing it.
Basically, you can watch every Liverpool women's game, either on BBC, Sky, or on the FA Player. So basically, you can watch it. You can get access to every game now, which you couldn't do before.
The cost of going to the games is so reasonable. If you're living in the city or in the area, it's so reasonable to be able to afford to take your kids
for me and my daughter,
see a proper game.
For me and my daughter, it's £75 for the season, and that is
where are you going?
That's every home.
Yeah, that's brilliant, Chris.
But that's every home league game and every home cup game, regardless. So you know, it's an easy way of getting in, and obviously people live in Liverpool. There is there's a regular bus that they put on from Anfield to Tranmere as well. So the thing you hope is there's not as many clashes, but that is more for next season. Until then, listen, thanks everyone for watching. Fingers crossed, you know, Villa do us a favour and we get the job done our end, or we can have that. And if it doesn't happen, never mind. We'll have to just worry about a Champions League final next week instead. Oh, the joys of being the Liverpool fan.
Yeah, it's hard all life, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Until then, guys, thanks for watching. Speak to you soon.
Take care, all.